Welcome everyone to another Wednesday night, the fundamentals to gain inner peace with your host, Coach Menachem Bernfeld. And tonight we are doing class number 83. And for all the recordings are available at menachembernfeld.com. And you can join us on this journey. Don't try to do everything in one day, slowly. And eventually you'll catch up. Tonight we will continue where last week we finished off sitting a little bit with negative emotions, being okay with negative emotions. And I thank you all for the feedback, whether it was positive or negative. We'll discuss soon. Not so easy for everyone. Negative feedback. For some people, they're used to it. Some people sit there all day, sit with negatives. They're used to negative emotion. And others run away and they don't like it when you talk to them about it. And we'll discuss it soon. Before we start, I would like to thank our sponsor, like every week. okclarity.com is the place to find a top-notch therapist, coach, or nutritionist. okclarity.com professionals are vetted and have extensive experience working with the Jewish community. If you're in the market for a therapist, coach, or the like, or if you're a wellness professional looking to get more online exposure, go check them out. And you can also join their WhatsApp status. The number is 917-426-1495, 917-426-1495. Join them and be part of it. Okay, so let's get started. Let's get grounded. The few minutes that we have, I hope you have more than this in your busy week, but now that you're taking some time off for yourself, take a deep breath and just try to relax as much as possible. Here we are, here you are, here I am. Both feet on the ground. Try to get grounded. Just become aware of where you're coming from, what your day looked like, how you feel. If things worked out or it didn't. Positive mood, negative moods. Is it up or down? And then we turn inwards, just to become aware of what our body feels like. Maybe your shoulders, you can let it relax, let it down. And you don't realize how much stress in your head, cheeks. Just take a deep breath and just be here. Hopefully nobody's bothering you. You have a few moments of quiet. And it is what it is. Becoming aware, we become mindful of this is where I am. This is how I feel. And I'm okay. Might not be in a positive state, but that's also okay. Just becoming aware. So tonight we're going to discuss a little bit that emotions in general are a lot of information about ourselves. The title was negative emotions, but it's not only negative. Any emotion is really information about ourselves. If we feel something, it tells us something about ourselves, the way we think, the way we feel. Maybe there's something we need to do about it. But first, step number one is just becoming aware of the emotion. And what we do here is to feel it, feel the emotion, understand the emotion. Many people, emotions are new to them. Might think it's made for babies, maybe for little kids, but grown-ups, what does emotion have to do with our life? We got to do what we got to do, and that's it. Emotions, why think about them? Why feel them? Why stop and be with them? But the truth is, it's a lot of information. First of all, we all have emotions. That's step number one. For those that think they don't, as long as we're alive, we have emotions. You might not let yourself feel it, but we have them. That's number one. And now emotions is a lot of information. And I did get some feedback. People didn't like it. They don't like negative emotions. They don't like to sit with their negative emotions. And I understand that. They're not the only one. There are many people. And that's the reason why many people keep themselves busy. Sometimes it can be with an addiction, or it doesn't have to be an addiction. It could be just keeping yourself busy on the phone, at work, just finishing your to-do list. You're constantly doing your to-do list, which is amazing. And when you're done, you go to sleep. There's no time because it's so late at night. And then you get up and tomorrow's another day and you continue and continue and continue, which sounds amazing, but you never give yourself that time to stop and to reflect, to see, where am I? What am I working on? Where am I trying to get to? Where am I? What's going on? What's working? What's not working? And that could be the reason why they keep themselves busy, because it's hard. It is hard for many to sit with negative emotions. But we've discussed many reasons why, the benefits. But the main benefit is to realize that if we have them, the way to release them is by feeling them. If we don't let ourselves feel, then we suppress. It goes down inside our body somewhere, and then people can get sick physically. And sometimes they go to the doctor, and the doctor says, you look fine, x-rays, blood work, everything is fine. So what's going on? And sometimes it could be just emotions. He's not in touch with what's working, what's not working. So here we are, just for basic health. So I do want to apologize if it was hard, and for those that it's hard to go there. But again, to go there slowly. You don't have to sit there all day. You don't have to sit and make it very hard. Just a few minutes to go there a little bit. It could be for a minute, journaling, write down the things that are not working out, things that are negative, things that you don't like. That's it. That doesn't mean we're going to fix it. Doesn't mean we have a solution for everything. It's just becoming aware. Certain things I do like, certain things I don't like. Okay? Keep on breathing. As a coach, I would say I don't always motivate and encourage. You think a coach would help a person, motivate them, encourage them, keep on going. But it's not always what I do. Sometimes I listen to them. If I see they're in a place where there's negativity going on, I would listen to them and see what's going on and just let them sit there a little bit. I do try to go there with them, to sit there with them. Not that I'm changing anything, I'm not fixing anything, even though they came to me, maybe they want to fix today, now. But just to listen, what's going on, what's on your mind, why isn't it not working out? You tried many times, and what's happening? What are people telling you? What's the feedback? There could be a lot of negativity. And just by listening and going there into that negative space with them, eventually they see things about themselves. They learn how they work. Maybe somebody gave them negative feedback, and then the whole day there's no one to talk to because it's constantly in their mind, the negative feedback. It's important to be aware of that. When are they going to see it if they don't just sit down and see what's going on? So before motivation and before encouragement and telling them you're great, you're doing good, keep on going, sometimes you have to sit in that negative and see what's bothering you. And again, it is hard for many, and it takes you to a place where you have like a real connection with yourself. Like we discussed, information about yourself, but you really get to hear yourself, to see yourself, to feel yourself, because that's you. That's where your life is. This is what you're feeling. And then they see, I don't like this. There could be a few weeks that they're on a negative cycle. And then after that, when they come out, they're like, wow, it wasn't easy. It was not easy. But now I get it. I see what's going on. That's the light at the end of the tunnel, which usually we see. And I tell them, don't think you're not going to go back to that negative place. It's normal. You've been there for a while. It could be many years. Sometimes people are negative. You're going to find your mind going back there. But now that you know how your mind works, you don't have to be scared of it. And you can wait it out. And you learn how to be there with yourself. And that's what we're learning here tonight. So let's come up with just a few examples of how is negative emotions information. What kind of information can you pick up? So here's an example number one at work. There's something that's not working out. Sometimes you can't pinpoint it. You don't know exactly what it is. But there's some vibes, the environment. Every time you finish work, you're in a negative mood. You don't feel good about yourself. Again, it's not clear what it is. And every person has to know, you first have to sit down and see how I feel. And if you feel negative, we can slowly ask ourselves, what's going on? Why? Maybe a coworker that sits next to you. Maybe that's feedback. Maybe they're in a bad mood. Sometimes it's contagious. So just first becoming aware of that uncomfortable feeling of how the environment feels, how it makes you feel. And then if it's negative, you become aware there's something going on. I need to figure this out. So that's information number one. Instead of continuing and saying, this is where I am and I have to make it work and going on, maybe we can figure something out. Maybe you're doing something you don't like. Maybe it's not working out for you. If you had a choice, you would go somewhere else. Okay. Not saying that you're going to change right away, but at least the awareness. The awareness itself can sometimes help you reduce that stress. Maybe there are some skills you need to learn to make it easier for you. But these are just ideas. These are the information that we're looking for. And if it's hard to figure it out on your own, it's always good to pick up the phone, talk to someone that you know that can listen to you. And you become aware of, tell them what's going on, how you feel, and maybe you can discuss it. That itself helps. So this is one example, becoming aware of what you feel, what's going on, and then eventually maybe you can take a step with the information that you picked up to do something that should work out for you. Another example. Let's say you make plans with a friend. And it's not the first time. The last minute they tell you, oi, things didn't work out, I can't, they cancel. That could be hard. That could be hard. If any of you have felt it, You might say, I don't have friends. It might be the reason why you don't have friends, because you don't want to feel that, the rejection. But your friends, why did he cancel the last minute? What's going on? And it's not the first time. So just stop for a moment, just to become aware of how that feels. You made up the day before. You were excited about it. You like to go out with your friend. You worked out your schedule in a way that it should work out an hour or two to be, to be out. You're looking forwards. And then the last minute, you get a phone call that it's not going to work out. Now, if it happens once, okay. But it's not once. And it could be twice, it could be 3 times. Now just become aware of that feeling. So what are we supposed to do? Before doing anything, just see how you feel. Maybe there are some boundaries that you have to discuss, open communication, to have some conversation with him or her, just to talk, to tell them how you feel. And see if you can do something about it. But that boundary is to say, listen, I take some time off. I had to move around things in my schedule. And there's something that I look forward to. And I'm sure you also do. And I understand last minute things happen, but we have to figure this out. But this is just a little bit of more information of when you sit with that negative emotions. You might say, okay, big deal. It doesn't bother me. It's fine. And then it happens again. Oh yeah, it's good. It's fine. And the third time, it's good. It's fine. You see how we run away from feeling that it hurts. Another important piece is that you're not going to look forward as much because you know that it might not work out. So yeah, we might go out. I don't know yet. So your whole energy level, your whole the emotions, you try to stick together. It doesn't go too high so that it doesn't go too low. Because if you look forward and it doesn't work out, expectations, then it hurts more. So you know what? Yeah, we'll make it work out. Let's go out tomorrow. And you're not looking forwards. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Who cares? No big deal. So you see how you try not to be in touch with the emotion because you don't want that letdown. We don't want the negatives. You might say, yeah, why should I want that negative? So I understand you don't like it, but we need to pick it up. We need the information and see what we can do. Maybe there's something we can do. But that information to see how it makes me feel and be in touch with it and to sit there. That's what we're looking for. And then you might have to talk, open conversation. Another example, anxiety before giving a workshop, public speaking. I've been aware of that and I'm still aware of it. And here I am practicing a little bit of public speaking. So if somebody gets nervous, they want to do it, and they say they're going to do it, and then they become very nervous, that itself is information. Whatever comes up, the anxiety, what's it saying? It might say, you need to prepare. Okay, that's important. That's an important piece of information. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it right. I don't know how. Okay, so what could you do about it? Fine. Then we have to see if the perfectionism kicks in. Then they're not going to let you do it. No matter what you do, you're never going to be able to do it because there's no perfect. And even after 100 times, which might be much better, but you have to get there. You can't start with number 100. You have to do a little bit of time. The first time you'll learn, the second time will be better, and we grow. So what's the information that you're going to pick up? A little bit of information of, I have to prepare. I'm nervous. Maybe I'm excited. I'm not sure what I'm feeling. Okay, good. What can I do to make things easier? Preparing is very important. Have those pieces of paper in front of you? Great. But then it's not professional. Okay, and then what happens? What happens if you have to look inside a piece of paper? How do you feel about it? It tells you about yourself. I'm not sure, nobody does it. I have to be like everybody else. That's an important piece of information. That's what comes up when you journal. It's like, why do I want to do this? Why don't I want to do this? What am I worried about? What is the fear? My self-judgment? What are other people going to say? But many times it's more, what's that voice inside of me? What am I saying about myself? And then what could I do to make it easier? Maybe some deep breathing, practice. You have a good friend, call them up. You have 10 minutes. I want to practice the speech. Here we go. Do it once, twice. First time, it's not going to be easy. Second time, be easier. But all of this comes from the information that you're picking up from that sitting and feeling what your body feels. And that's what we need. Be in touch, be aware, try to figure out what's it telling me, what does it want? And then you figure out how to do it if you want to do it. Another example is any goal that you tried achieving. Now, it could be you tried many years ago, something that you always wanted, something that you worked on, and at the end you gave up. You had a goal, you're looking forward to accomplish something, and then it didn't work out. You're disappointed. That's another feeling. Just be the feel of, I wish I was working on it. I wanted to get there. I wanted to get that whatever it was. I wanted to get it done, but I didn't. So now what comes up? become aware of that feeling. Maybe you have high standards. Maybe you were trying to, reach for the stars, which is great, but you have to realize you have to get there, like we discussed. Maybe you were thinking it's not working out, and all you needed is somebody else to be there and tell you it is. A good friend to tell you it's exactly the way, just continue. That's fine. And what does it mean to you now that you didn't achieve that goal? It's also important. You might look at yourself now like a failure because you had a goal and you didn't do it. And again, it might be years and you're walking around saying, oh, it didn't work out. And then you attach it to yourself saying, I'm just not capable of doing stuff. So that's information. We have to figure out if that's true or not. But first, the information that comes up. How do you feel about yourself? Sitting in this space when things are not working out, when you had a goal. So that helps us to reflect and then either come up with strategies or speak to someone to help you to go through this, about yourself, or maybe if you want to accomplish something, they could help you. You might be too negative about yourself, which is not true, and just to help you keep on going, to have a good friend or somebody to be there for you. So here we have some examples, and it's important to think, where in my life do I have things that are not working out, things that I'm disappointed about, negatives that I don't like? And sit down for a few minutes and see, why do I feel that way? And then you come up with information, which is important. And again, I know it's not easy for everyone. And that's why I say slowly. We're not running into this. We're not running into the heavy stuff. Choose something small to understand that you just want to become a little bit aware, to learn how to sit with it. Don't run away from yourself. This is who you are. And like we discussed many times, you think by running away that you won't be in touch with it. But the truth is, it's there. It's inside. It might be, it doesn't let you relax, doesn't let you sit and just enjoy the moments because all of those negatives. So that means it's there. It's controlling your life. So spend some time with it. Not too long. Start with a few minutes. And eventually you'll be able to realize you'll be able to sit with it, not get scared of it, and then take the information and use it. Another piece is important, like we discussed many times, for parents. When your child comes to you with a negative, anything negative, they're crying about something, or even a teenager complaining about something, and it's hard. Sometimes it triggers your own things, and right away you want to tell them, just take care of it. Don't be a baby. Don't cry about it. It happened a while ago, get over it. But for parents, it's very important. The same way we're learning how to be there for ourselves. We want to be there for our kids so that eventually they'll be able to be there for themselves. But if they get the negative feedback and we push them away, then they will learn, like many of us, that it's not good to be in touch with our negative emotions. Just keep on going. That's for babies. So let me list a few ideas that we discussed, but these are important for parents. Number one is active listening. Just to listen. Don't tell them anything. Just listen. What happened? What's going on? Okay? And now don't be quiet. Have a conversation with them. What do you mean? Wow, so what did you do? Keep it going. Just be there. Just being quiet and looking is very uncomfortable for them. You're like, just make it a conversation. Hopefully you can do that. Number two is validate, like we discussed. If they feel the way they feel, then that's how they feel. Can't tell them they don't feel that way. This is how I feel. It makes me angry. I'm mad. Okay, just wow. Or I can't imagine how I feel, or it makes sense. Don't dismiss whatever comes up. Don't push it away. Don't minimize. and keep that conversation going. It's only after that that we can maybe try to help the child come up with solutions, example, things, problem solving. Only after that. Don't jump to it right away. I know we want to go right away to problem solving, but you first have to do active listening, to validate, to be there, and just keep the conversation going. After that, once they're, you can tell in them, they calm down because, they let it out. Somebody listened to them. That's why you can ask them, maybe this. So what did you try? What did you do? Did it work? So what are you going to do? But we don't go there right away. Leading by example, sometimes the adults, the parents, could talk how they went through whatever it is and how it was hard for them. Kids listen to that. They love it. They're like, wow, my parents are human and they have their struggles. And I know it's hard for many, but you can start small, something small. I didn't have my coffee today. Something small. It's like, what's the big deal? It does make a difference. So I'm just aware of it. I'm not crying, I'm not kvetching, but yeah, it bothers me. So that's leading by example. Self-care for the parents. Because if you don't know how to do self-care for for yourself, then you can't tell it to your child. Take some time off, take care of yourself. If you don't do it to yourself, how can you tell your child to do it? They have to do it to see that you're doing it. And then if they do need somebody to talk to, some adults, some parents, very hard to connect to their child, which it happens. And again, we're all on this journey. But if it's too hard for you to be there for your child, maybe you can find somebody for them to talk to, somebody, a mentor, a therapist, a coach, a friend, a teacher, whoever it is, just to get somebody to do these steps so that they can figure themselves out. But it's important for them to have somewhere just to sit, somebody to listen to them. I had this teenager tell me they were going through some situation, they're very angry and mad. And then they were saying, I just can't get over this. And everybody around me is telling me, just get over it. And then he says, and they're right. I don't know why I can't get over this. And they're, putting all the blame on themselves and all the negative talk. And I can hear the way their parents are telling them, it's time to go on. It is what it is. Fine, next. And they can't get over it. And then they say, I must be a baby. Is something wrong with me? And they're basically learning that I better shut this down fast. Everybody's telling me to go get over it. All the adults around me tell me to get over it. And when I sit there with them and I listen, I tell them, listen, this is real. They're like, yeah, but I don't like this. Why not? What do you mean, why not? It's negative. I understand. But then I tell them, spend a few minutes in your room just sitting with that negativity. No, but I have to get over this. I can't continue. This happened already a while ago. I have to get over this. The reason why they're having a hard time getting over it, because nobody ever gave them that space to experience, to understand, to validate that it's okay the way they feel. And if nobody gave it to them, they can't do it for themselves. So when they do go into their room and sit for a few minutes, it's you're a baby. You have to get over this. Why are you making yourself crazy? You can't stop crying. Just go on. You hear all the voices. They don't let you just accept. To accept yourself. We have to learn how to accept ourselves even with the negatives. For a few minutes. Again, it doesn't mean you have to walk around all day miserable. But if you can spend a few minutes being aware with yourself, even with the negatives, then the rest of your day, you'll feel much better. Because you had a place where you can let it out. But if you don't have that, and you believe it's wrong, you believe there's something wrong with that negative feeling, then your whole day will be miserable. You will be living with the negativity. You'll think, I'm pushing it away, I'm keeping myself busy, but really, what's running? Who's driving that car? That negative emotions. So that's the change in perspective that we're doing over here. to be able to sit for a few minutes with the negatives, even though we don't like it, become aware of what comes up, become aware of what's going on. It's valid. And then what could I do about it? But first, to be able to validate and sit with it. So how is that? Maybe a little bit easier. Again, try it out. Don't sit there for too long. You can try with 1 minute. Shut your phone, close yourself in a room, take a deep breath, and just sit there with yourself and let whatever comes up come up. Positive, negatives, voices, whatever it is. And those voices, just write them down. Just put it on a piece of paper, become aware of it. And enjoy the journey. I know it's not easy for beginners, but after a while, you could enjoy it. You get to see some positives. And afterwards, you walk out of the room, you'll feel much better. Okay, you can put a smile on your face, even if there are some negatives. Eventually, that's what we're going to get to. Silver lining. There are some positives. There's always some positives. But I don't want to run away from the negatives because we might be suppressing, might be trying to not experience, but we're being in the moment, mindful, whatever it is. So thank you very much. Thank yourself for taking some time off for yourself, for giving yourself time that you deserve to be able to just be and relax and take a deep breath so that you can go on and do what you need to do. Try to do it every day for a few minutes. Thank you very much. I'll see you next week, Wednesday night. Again, the recordings are available at menachembernfeld.com. Any feedback is welcome. coachmenachem@gmail.com. Whatever comes up, any questions, send them in, and hopefully we'll be able to connect and give you some ideas. Have a good night, and I'll see you next week.